You're on.
And I'm on. I'm on. So what time is it now? It's time for a YouTube video.
12:53 a.m.
12:53 a.m. Please having a beer in the background. So, and the only reason doing this tonight was I had an interesting experience tonight. It's about the election campaign. And I should also say we're live from Willowdale, Young and Finch. So there. And but yeah, I want to tell you about an interesting experience, an electoral experience. Okay, so on Church Street, I was sitting at Woody's having a beer, and I noticed who's campaigning on Church Street, but Linda McQuaig, an old friend of mine. She's running for the NDP in Toronto Centre, and Linda's always been a good friend, and I know she ran for Chrystia Freeland. She ran against her in the by-election a couple years ago. And that was, an interesting battle, right? Two former Globe and Mail journalists, two authors. What a great intellectual battle. You rarely get a battle of two intellectuals in a race. Anyways, so she's now running again for the NDP. And she's an old friend, and she, Linda's author of many great books on Canadian politics, and some of you have read them. And she's an old friend, and I went up to her and said hello. So I don't want to get into a big debate because I'm a disaffected NDPer. When Jack Layton decided to team up with Stephen Harper and get rid of the, take down the Martin government, to me, it took a couple of years, but I pretty much left the NDP because that I never got over that. Because, Paul Martin promised national child care, more monies for transit. He brought the Kelowna Accords were one of the landmark Aboriginal Accords we ever had in this country, and we didn't get any of it because Stephen Harper came into power because of Jack Layton. So when Livia Chow talks about national child care, I said, well, we could have had that if your husband hadn't defeated the Martin government. So anyways, we all know that this week's in history. But so I told this to Linda today why I'm a disaffected NDPer. But she said to me, well, won't you vote for me? And I said, well, I don't live in the riding because I live in St. Paul's. But I thought, yeah, you know what? If I lived in Toronto Centre, why wouldn't I vote for you? You're a good person. You're an intellect. You've written many books. You were on my... Linda used to be a big supporter of community radio. Well, I'm sure I was on community radio on CIUT, University of Toronto radio station, as well as CKLN, now defunct at Ryerson. Linda was also a supporter of community radio. She'd always come on. Yeah, we promoted her books, but boy, she would come on during fundraising campaigns, and she'd raise thousands of dollars because people love Linda. And she'd raise thousands of dollars for community radio. So, yeah, so today when I saw her on the street, I said hello and I left, and I'm sitting at Woody's having a beer, and I saw her main streeting, and I thought, well, why wouldn't I support Linda? She's a good person. And we need good people in politics. We need good, just because I don't like the NDP anymore, just because Linda's running for the NDP, she's still a good person. She's still, God, she'd be far better as a member of parliament than most of the crap that's up there. So, of course I'm going to support. I thought to myself, I was saying to a friend, I said, why wouldn't I support Linda? She's smart, she's intelligent, she's written many books, she's a male journalist, she's a Toronto Star columnist, she's worked for the CBC. She's actually, she should be a member of parliament. She's than most people. So what I'm trying to say in this video, and I didn't want to do it for a while, was the bottom line is we need good members of parliament. You might disagree with the party, but but the person
you need intellectuals in government.
You need intellectuals in government. You need absolutely. You need intellectuals in government. Or intellectuals in parliament. Intellectuals in parliament. You need smart people in parliament, and there are so many dumb people in parliament. So I'm a disaffected NDPer. I don't disagree. I don't agree with a lot with, I think the NDP is pretty sanctimonious, and I disagree with a lot of that, the NDP. But my God, I'm happy Elizabeth May is in Parliament. You know, we need more strong women in Parliament. We need people like Linda McQuaig. And I thought, yeah, why wouldn't I support Linda McQuaig? So that's my YouTube video tonight is like, even though you disagree with the party, but if you have a strong candidate that is smart and you think just do a good job as a member of Parliament, and yeah, they're worth supporting. So yeah, that's I guess the point of this YouTube video too. A random run-in with an old friend who's a big supporter of community radio, which I was a part of many years ago at University of Toronto CIUT, as well as Ryerson CKLN. Was a big supporter, always gave me an interview, an intellect, a smart person. Of course you should be a member of Parliament. Of course, we need more Linda McQuaigs in Parliament. And you know, her opponent, Chrystia Freeland, in the last by-election, also a smart person, an author, also a former Globe Mail journalist. We need smart people in Parliament. Now, Chrystia is not running against Linda in this because the ridings will be reconfigured. So, but yeah, I thought to myself, of course I'm gonna, and Clede behind me is going, we're going to work for Linda. We're going to do some work for Linda in this upcoming election, because Clede and I both used to do a lot of work for the NDP. I'm kind of disaffected. He is not. But we're going to work for Linda in this election because Linda needs to be in Parliament. And despite my problems with the NDP, we need strong people in Parliament. And Linda would be great. She's an intellect. She's written many books. She's smart. And we need smart people in Parliament. And we don't have a lot of them. So, yeah. So I'm going to work for Linda. And that was a random encounter about 3-4 hours ago on Church Street. And yeah, my YouTube video tonight is about even if you don't agree with the party, if you agree with a person, you think they'd be a strong member of Parliament, a good member of Parliament, work for them. Because we need good people in Parliament. That's the bottom line. We need good people in Parliament. We don't have enough of them. So that's the bottom line on this YouTube video. And yeah, so Linda McQuaig, I'll be working for you, encouraging people in Toronto Centre to vote for you, because I think you're good. And I'm just a random encounter with an old friend today, and I thought, why not? We need strong people in Parliament. So,
and I like the NDP. So.
And yeah, and Clede's always been a supporter, even though I've become disaffected. He's always been a supporter. So we're going to both work for Linda McQuaig in the next couple of months. The bottom line, and now just to segue into something totally weird, the end of the Pan Am Games and the support for the Olympics, which I think is somewhat waning. Royce and James and Toronto Star is a big supporter of the Olympics, always has been. He always talked about building a better city, but of course he supports the Olympics, which totally takes away from that argument. But he now thinks he should bid for the Winter Olympics, because, you know, obviously we're so desperate to get the Olympics, and the Winter Olympics would be better. You know, the whole thing is so preposterous because we don't have mountains outside of Toronto and everything. I mean, some of it makes sense in terms of, you know, most of the Winter Olympic events don't need mountains, but the whole thing is so preposterous. And Royce and James is so desperate to bring the Olympics to Toronto, and now he says, "Oh, put the Summer Games on hold. We'll go for the Winter Olympics." But the whole thing is so preposterous and wild. It's so stupid and silly that's beyond the pale. And I'm going to tell you right now, and Laurie Goldstein in the Toronto Sun, the right-wing media is against this stuff. It's the liberal media that tends to be more for the Olympics, like the Star. I don't get it, frankly. But yeah, Laurie Goldstein had a great piece in the Sun saying, we don't need this. He listed all the idea, all the reasons. And of course, the healthcare reasons, right? But forget it. So many people are okay, let me start with the big reasons. $20 billion that would go to a Summer Olympics. Or let me tell you that what we could spend $20 billion on in our society. National Prescription Drug Program, pharmacare. Everybody needs it, and a lot of people can't afford prescription drugs. The Toronto District School Board reported last week that it would take $3.5 billion to upgrade Toronto schools. Toronto schools are decrepit, absolutely decrepit. $3.5 billion to bring Toronto schools up. It's junior, middle schools, high schools, elementary schools, up to grade. $3.5 billion. So don't you think that's a more important thing to do than spending $20 billion in the Olympics? Our sad transit system, everybody knows it. No point going there. And of course, our Lord Goldstein mentioned in his column in the Toronto Sun about autism. Lots of kids with autism don't get the help they need. And of course, there's lots of people with mental illness who can't see a psychiatrist. It takes you a couple of months to get to, if you really have mental illness, even to go to CAMH, it takes you 6 weeks to see a psychiatrist. We have lots of people who have mental illness who have a hard time getting to see a psychiatrist. We need the medical system needs help. We all know the needs of the society. $20 billion to help basically private interests and the International Olympic Committee, which are basically crooks, and their local hucksters. So, anyways, I know everyone, and the best example of this is, of course, everyone's hyped up about the Blue Jays and Rogers and all that shit, all that stuff. The Blue Jays, don't forget, the Blue Jays are constantly subsidized by the taxpayer of this country because you and I spent $600 million on the Sky Dome Rogers Center, and it was sold to the Rogers company for $25 million. And that you can't even get a house in the pricey.
You can't get a pint of beer at the Blue Jays game for that price.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, you can get a pint of beer. Well, that's the thing. When you're at a Blue Jays game, you're spending $12 on a piece of, you get a pitcher in most bars for that, and you can't give me a pint of beer at the Blue Jays game for that. But you can't even, for $25 million, that's what the Rogers Center Sky Dome was sold to Rogers for. And it would cost Ontario taxpayers $600 million. And you can't even get a price on the Bridle Path. You can't get a home on the Bridle Path for $25 million. I mean, that says it all about this stuff. Stop putting public monies into professional sport, including the Olympics, which is professional sport. Amateur, there's no amateur sport there. We all know it's a joke. So, but yeah, as this sort of crap about the Pan Games are a success, which the bottom line is there wasn't such a success. The tourism, the fact that monies were spent to spurious, right? Was always a big benefit to the city of Toronto. It really wasn't, and a lot of people stayed away. So, no, let's not bid for the Olympics. Let's not even go there. We have so many needs in our city, and just think about those crumbling schools. $3.5 billion to upgrade our school system, so kids don't have to go to crappy schools with, mold in their bathrooms and, mold in their classrooms. Oh, God. Need I go on? Anyways, I wasn't supposed to do a YouTube video tonight, but the bottom line is, that was good meeting Linda McQuaig tonight on Church Street and realizing, I want to get good members of Parliament into Parliament. So, and I am a disaffected New Democrat, no question. So this is nonpartisan in ways. And I think a lot of people out there will think, yeah, there are some, I might not support the party, but I like the candidate. So, and it's
what's the NDP position on the Olympics anyway?
I don't think they have one.
I've never read of one.
Yeah, so and everyone stays away from that one because it's like hype, right?
Is it much more of a municipal affair than it is?
Well, no, it is a federal affair because the taxpayers.
Oh, I see. Okay.
The federal taxpayers across the country pay for security costs. They pay for everything.
Okay.
Yeah. the Vancouver Olympics, they say they broke even, but basically they only broke even because Canadian taxpayers paid for all the security costs. So yeah, no, it is a federal concern, but it tends to be a municipal and regional concern. But when people swallow the Kool-Aid, nobody wants to go against it. You know, that's a funny thing. Rob Ford, always, you know, to his credit, he didn't believe in putting any money into sport. He thinks taxpayers should not put money into professional sport. And he had no use for the Pan Am Games, and he had no use for the Olympics, and he was right. And it's true. It tends to be the more conservative types that hate this stuff. It's the liberal types that love spending taxpayer money on this crap. And anyways, I'm ending this YouTube video because this is supposed to be short. But the bottom line is, if you have a candidate in the federal election that you like, and it might not be the party you like, yeah, work for them. If you think they'd be a good member of parliament and will benefit society, work for them, even if it's not the party that you generally like. So yeah, and this, I just thought about this today with this random encounter with Linda McQuaig, an old friend. And yeah, Clea and I are gonna both do some work for her. So so that's about it. And I'm gonna end this broadcast. We weren't even gonna do a YouTube video for a while, but yeah, just and yeah, please don't support an Olympic bid. Write letters to the editor saying, no, this is a load of crap. And think about the crumbling schools, okay? And all the other needs we need in our society. And not spend $20 billion on the Olympics. Oh, yeah, come on, just think about that. Write letters to the editor. Just get angry. You know, as they said in Network, you know, I'm mad as hell. I don't support this stuff anymore. You know,
well, I guess it's municipal only as far as it goes through congestion and, you know, sort of.
Well, it's no. God, municipalities can never afford this stuff.
Right.
This stuff is federally funded, provincially funded. You could never. Are you kidding? Who could afford $20 billion? What they want to spend on the Olympics? That's what the Olympics would cost, $20 billion. And anyone who I'm talking to tonight would know, where can we spend $20 billion? Better healthcare, special needs, crumbling infrastructure. The list goes on, right? None of that. Yeah, it's
so
Olympics.
So if we don't get the Olympics, where does that money go otherwise?
Well, it would go to other needs. We need to emphasize other needs.
No. I'm not asking where it would go, but where does it go? Like when we put in a bid for the Olympics, right? Where, say we don't get the Olympics, all that money that they sort of like store for the Olympics, like where does it end up going?
Well, they don't store it. They get it. I mean, you know, cash
like
strap.
The IOC actually.
Oh yeah. The Olympic bids alone cost millions and millions of dollars. Right. And some of it's private, most of it's public, because everyone swallows the Kool-Aid.
Right.
But yeah, governments will tell you they're always cash strapped, right? And we know provincially, and municipally, provincially, and federally, all the governments are cash strapped. There's not a government in Canada that's not cash strapped. But there seems to be always money for this stuff. And that's bizarre, given the needs, because people swallow the Kool-Aid. The Olympics are a cult. It's a cult, okay? It's a cult. It's like Jonestown. It's like you swallow the Kool-Aid. It's this whole idea, the Olympic spirit and everything gets swallowed up in it. It's all crap. And most of the Olympic movement is basically corrupt. And the IOC is one of the most corrupt operations on the planet Earth. I mean, oh God, it's so... I don't want to go there. You'll know it. And this was supposed to be a short video. So please, let's stop the broadcast.
Oh, okay.
But support a candidate in the election. I do say that the bottom line is support somebody you like, even if it's not a party you like. If you think the person will do a good job as a member of parliament, support them. On that note, please stop the broadcast.
Okay.